Mr. Speaker, this weekend we saw a referendum in Crimea that took place in the shadow of a Russian military intervention in Ukraine. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that the referendum was illegal, illegitimate and in direct violation of the terms of the Ukrainian constitution? Does he also share my deep concern following the news that a Ukrainian serviceman was shot and killed at a military base in Crimea yesterday?
Well, the Right Honourable Gentleman is absolutely correct that the referendum in the Crimea is illegitimate and illegal. It was spatchcocked together in 10 days and held at the point of a Russian Kalashnikov. This cannot be accepted or legitimised by the international community. I think we should be absolutely clear about what has happened here. This is the annexation, effectively, of one country's territory by another country, and we must be absolutely clear about our interests, which is to see a rules-based international system where countries obey the rules. And if we turn away from this crisis and don't act, we will pay a very high price in the longer term. So we should be clear that this referendum is illegitimate. We must be clear that consequences must follow, and we should work with our European partners and with the United States for a strong, consistent and robust response.
The Prime Minister should know that from this side of the House he will have our support for the toughest possible diplomatic and economic measures against the Russian Federation, given the totally illegitimate actions that they have taken. I also welcome the announcement yesterday that the G7 allies will gather next week in The Hague. Mr. Speaker, given Russia's actions, it seems inconceivable that they can remain in the G8. So does the Prime Minister now agree that this meeting of the G8 should go further and explicitly decide to suspend Russia from the group of G8 advanced economies?
I was one of the first people to say that I thought it was unthinkable for the G8 to go ahead as planned. We were one of the first countries to suspend all preparations for that G8, and I strongly support the G7 meeting of countries that will take place on Monday. I think it's important we move together with our allies and partners, and I think we should be discussing whether or not to